The May 6th Planning Commission meeting will now come to order. I'd like to kick off the meeting this evening and offer a welcome to our new senior planner, Henry. And there's a section on the agenda we'll get to here at the end and give you an opportunity to stand up and introduce yourself, say a few words. So I promise I won't make it too uncomfortable. The next item on the agenda is general orders. We have a general order to consider a form-based code alternative compliance request, and we shall hear from staff.
All right, good evening, Planning Commissioners. I'm Josh Brown. I'm the Development Coordinator with the Development Services for the City of Stillwater. This is an alternative compliance request, as you said. This is for 231 North Husband Street in the form-based code area. So this is an area map showing the subject site in the pink polygon with a cross pattern. This property does have frontage onto North Husband Street and secondary frontage on Hoke Street, which turns into Matthews and then runs into North Main Street. Here's an aerial view showing the surroundings. Strickland Park is located to the east across Main Street. Exchange Bank is located directly to the northeast. And Best Western plus Cimarron Hotel and Suites is located directly to the north. Panera Bread is directly north of that, which fronts onto Hall of Fame Avenue. Here's a picture of the approved elevations, and this was brick on all sides with a mixture of concrete and stone and a stone block for the base. And then here's the new proposed elevations with fiber cement shake on the gables, vertical and horizontal fiber cement board for the body, and then stone cap and painted brick on the base. This is a street view of the property as it is now. It's under construction. And then just to kind of give you an idea of the area, there's several different facades. This is west across Husband Street, and that is stone facade and brick. This is the hotel to the north, which is IFAS with the stone bottom. And then there are several different siding buildings in the area, which include wood siding and vinyl siding. And those were directly to the south of the property. So Stephen Gose is here. He's the applicant's engineer, and he's going to speak on the item. Do you have any questions for staff?
So this was taken off of the form-based code in 2019, and it was it was on the original code in 2015. It was taken off in 2019, but it was not put as a prohibited material. So do you have references to why it was taken off?
I do not.
You are correct. In that timeline, we were not able to find the minutes to support the reason why they removed it, but they can get the exception for this if you, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, Commissioner. Stephen Gose, Gose & Associates, 113 East 8th. Josh covers everything. There's, you can see in the letter that we submitted why we're trying to do it, which is building material, labor shortages, timeframes, trying to get something that's doable. Mr. Williams, I did do some research trying to look through my records of when the code changed, and staff provided the minutes, but they didn't address this issue. It was a weird thing at council. On one meeting, they accepted the changes in title only, and then they came back at the next council meeting with the text. And I found my notes from the Builder Relations Committee meetings prior to Planning Commission where the fiber cement siding was still in there. And then I just didn't pay attention when it came to this board and council of why that was removed. But it was in there, like you said, prior to this, and it looks like it was in Josh's notes later on in this. So I thought it was still part of it, just by reference, not by actual current code. And again, why it was taken out back then, I don't know. And none of the staff in the planning department was the same. And I don't think Ms. Phillips, you were on this board at that time. Mm-hmm. So the request is we're trying to come in with a material that is durable, kind of meets the intent of the durability within the code, meets the previous code, and allows construction to proceed in a timely manner. So,
If you had to speculate, why would a city decide to take that off? Is it cosmetics typically?
I think it could be any number of things, trying to control facades, trying to build to a certain standard, a certain aesthetic by the planning staff at the time of what they wanted to see.
Yeah.
So, if there's nothing else, Dakota Riggin is here on behalf of the builder, just if there's any questions for them, but that's what we've got right now.
Any other questions or?
Yeah, we just talk about how it helps.
It helps trying to find labor right now with all the projects going on in Stillwater with the high school, the fire station, the airport, the hub, the largest bricklayer in town who can manage something like this is just backed up. And then the weather's not helping any construction site. So
it's a lot easier to put up.
yeah, it'll get put up faster. It'll allow it to happen. I mean, we've talked to local bricklayers out of Oklahoma City, out of Tulsa. They've talked to their bricklayer from Northwest Arkansas, and just nobody's available right now to do that much brick in the next several months. And they've been trying
Nobody's
since they
rebuilding
started
the
construction.
houses from the fires yet, are they? Because
Their
very
permits
rare.
have been started submitting last week or this week.
And so that's
with
only
people
gonna
coming in
compound
for
it.
that. So, and that's a different level of brick than
Okay.
this. I mean, we did the math on this one time, and it's a lot of brick.
Yeah.
All four sides of both of those buildings.
So there are other sidings that are allowed by code that aren't brick. So why are you selecting
Well,
the
but
one?
there's stone. I mean, so brick, cast stone, stone. Those are all going to be put up by the same masons. Ephes or stucco. It's just not an aesthetic that our client wants, and I don't know that would, my personal opinion, would fit in with the neighborhood as well, and that residential look like the siding does with some of those pictures Josh showed of siding on the residential structures.
So
And architectural metal is just that's a whole different look.
So I'll say, in reference to Commissioner Prather's question, I find it interesting the way the wording is in the city code reference, because it lists specific materials, say it's limited to brick, cast stone, stone, ephes, stucco, architectural metal, or other high-quality, long-lasting masonry material. Masonry may be a bit of a stretch, but cement fiberboard is a very long-lasting material. It's extremely durable. It will give you, it's actually a much more, has greater durability than the ephes does. It's probably easier to maintain, in my opinion, than the stucco. It's a very different type of material than the architectural metal, which is interesting because architectural metal, while it is written as a primary facade that you can use, then it's also listed in certain forms to be prohibited in the second element, which is probably another observation for another time. The things that are listed as prohibited, corrugated or ribbed steel panels that you would see with prefabricated structures, plain concrete block, or in corrugated fiberglass. So those items that are prohibited seem to be further away from me than the cement fiberboard and its appearance, as is kind of listed as another high-quality, long-lasting material. I find that in the I'll say the document, the exhibit that was presented by the applicant, it looks much more contextual to have the cement fiberboard and have that siding look and the board and batten look. For that particular neighborhood, it's more residential in character and I think seems to lend itself nicely to the area. Whereas the brick might look a little bit,
Uniform.
yeah, a little too uniform.
Yeah. And that's what's nice about these facades is there's the base, there's the lap siding, the board and batten, and the shape patterns.
It brings down to a more human character in this area, and these are 2-story with a pitched roof, so they're a little bit taller than what's around it. And by using this particular finish, it gives it a more pedestrian feel and a more walkable feel, which is what we're trying to do in this area. So I find this to be very much in keeping with the spirit of how this was originally intended. Okay. Are there any other questions for the applicant? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, did we have anyone else from the applicant side that wanted to speak? No? Did we want to hear from staff one last time?
David Barth, Development Services Director. Before Josh comes up and shares with you his findings and the alternatives, I wanted to point out, because it was mentioned the 2019 update to the form-based code, and I wanted to just clarify that update was not about changing materials only. In fact, the report to the council at that time was mostly about updating the form-based code in regards to the public realm improvements. And so there was, there used to be quite a bit of improvements required in the public realm, which is the public right-of-way essentially, for different streetscapes and sidewalks and tree boxes and all kinds of things. And so some of those things were taken out, and that was really the reason for the 2019 update to the form-based code. So this particular change, we don't, has been said, we really don't know why it was removed from that the original section of the code. But I wanted to clarify that this update was not just about removing a material. It was a much bigger change to the form-based code, and this just was a included item. Thank you.
Excuse me, David,
Yeah.
I've got a question. Would there be any value of adding this cement fiberboard back in as acceptable material so we don't have to go through in the future possibly this kind of review? Or are there too many layers of approval if you add this back into the form-based code?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Commissioner Shanahan. I don't know if the right thing is to add it back into the code or if to make changes to the code that we don't even specify materials at all. And I say that because right now, if you own a building in that area and the siding falls apart, your really only option is to replace it with siding, maybe siding that we don't call for in the code, because there's no foundation for a brick wall or a stone wall on a house that's got siding, that was built to have siding. So if somebody's, if the only time we're going to have these prescribed materials is if somebody redevelops, and they're not, meaning tearing down and rebuilding like this project is, we may not always have, or maybe a long time before we have the materials that are prescribed in the code. So I think it's taking a step back and looking at the form-based code as a whole, making, are there changes that need to be made regarding having prescriptive materials or allowing more materials than what we say. I totally agree with what was said about the maintenance on EFS or stucco from being a former builder. Some of those materials are not as long lasting as maybe hardy board siding or other masonry type or cement based materials. So
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Well, we shall hear alternatives and findings from staff.
Your findings tonight are that the section 23-449 allows the planning commission to allow alternative materials, and the original form-based codes adopted in 2015 allowed cement fiberboard as facade material. The form-based code update in 2019 no longer included cement fiberboard in the list of approved facade materials. The staff report and ordinance updating the FBC or the form-based code in 2019 they do not include any reasons for eliminating cement fiberboard from the list of approved materials. Cement fiberboard is not listed in the code as a prohibited material, and buildings adjacent to this project include various facade materials, including brick, wood siding, and ephes. Your alternatives tonight are to approve the use of the fiberboard cement siding as presented, citing compliance with the provisions of Section 23-449, or you can deny the request to use fiber cement siding, or you can table the request to a future meeting.
Thank you. Anyone entertaining a motion?
Am I allowed to ask a question still?
Sure.
Okay, so Commissioner Shanahan's question made me think. I just have a question. If this process that we're going through now, has it slowed the builder down? Are you waiting on us?
Hi, I'm Dakota Reagan with Black Pine. Yes, sir, we've been waiting on whatever facade material that we decide to use or you guys allow us to use. So we're well past the point of getting ready to go and moving forward with the process. We're just waiting on your guys' decision tonight.
Well, given that, I would think we'd want to do something if we don't really care that doesn't make a builder wait on this process. Whether it's taking materials out completely, as you mentioned, David, or adding this back in or something. So it just seems like it's a bit of a waste to have to go through this. I mean, I don't mind being here. That's fine, but I'm sure they don't want to wait. So. But I'd make a motion to approve it. So.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. We shall now vote. Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is the meeting summary for review and possible action for the meeting summary of April 15th.
I would like to make one observation that it states in here that I may advise that no action is to be taken on an item. It was actually, I requested that no action be taken on the item.
All right. Any other changes?
We're looking at the April 15th?
Yes,
This is the last meeting, right?
Correct.
I think so.
I don't remember being there. Maybe I'm.
I believe you were the only.
Were you here?
April.
Yeah, I think you
I do not have you listed as being here.
Okay. Well, that's a change then. I wasn't here.
Yeah.
The
Well,
voting list, Commissioner Prather is absent,
absent and vote.
Okay.
which is what I recalled.
It lists Riley Williams present and absent.
I think it was possible.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Apologies.
Oh, it's okay. Extra credit.
Any other corrections?
I'd motion to approve the minutes with the stated corrections.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. We shall now vote. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, next item on the agenda is miscellaneous items from staff, planning commissioners, or the city attorney for discussion and possible action. I will note that the next regularly scheduled meeting of the planning commission is in 2 weeks, and that's May 20th. Do I have anything from other staff or the city attorney?
No.
Okay. So at this time, I'd like to give our new senior planner an opportunity to come up and just introduce yourself and maybe just let us know what your last stop was or anything like that you'd like to share about your experience with us.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. So my name is Henry Biebelheimer. I grew up in Wagner, Oklahoma, came to OSU for my undergrad, ended up getting my grad school from University of Sussex, which is in sustainable development. I ended up building a shipping container house in Wagner, which meant with a unique house, I worked a lot with the local planner. In that, I kind of learned like that's how laws are implemented on the local level. So I was like, hey, maybe I'll give that a shot. So I became a planner with the city of Broken Arrow, which is where I worked for the last 2+ years. Now I'm excited to come back, live and work in Stillwater. I'm excited to get to work with all of you guys. Definitely happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions?
I'm curious about your shipping container house.
Yeah, that one, it was a one container, 300 square foot. So moving to any house here would be a lot more space. I'm also curious what I end up doing with it. Still trying to figure that out. I'm also in the process of building a 3-container house that has kind of 2 on the first floor and 1 that on the second floor that's perpendicular, so it cantilevers are about 20 foot over.
Cool.
So that one will be really cool if it, finishes with me moving here. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated.
Well, if you want to put on Airbnb, there's a process for that here.
I'm also curious about where you go with the shipping container, the new one that you're doing, and that's great. Well, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you here, and I look forward to working with you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you guys. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. With that, the last item on the agenda is adjournment. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We shall now vote. Motion passes 5-0. We stand adjourned.